before I start, I'm going to pass up pictures of Miss Latoya's dog. I also had a picture of Frenchie, well, Francesca, a.k.a. Frenchie. She's a pit bull, little female. I also put some photographs in here of the area of where this occurred, and actually for you guys to see. This is a townhome community right down here by Green Tree Apartments. Just to give you a little bit more of an idea. They're 3 levels high. She is also a renter. So on March 24th, 2018, Animal Control received a complaint from Ms. Latoya Jones of 630 Leprechaun Lane in Glen Burnie regarding a dog always running loose. And she requested Animal Control officer respond that her dog was attacked by that dog running around loose, a pit bull female named, they said Tucker. We do know now it's Frenchie. The owner took the dog inside. Animal Control officer Fabrizi responded and spoke to the complainant, Ms. Jones. She advised that her 2 children were outside with their dog, Zeus, a Pressa mix, on a leash. She was washing the front passenger side of her car, and her girls had Zeus on a leash. They were in the parking lot of their home, which is a townhome community. She advised that the pit bull loose went past her when saw her 2 girls with Zeus on a leash. The pit bull ran at them to her dog. Zeus put himself in front of the children, and when the pit bull reached her dog, it started to attack her dog. She ran over, kicked the other dog to get it to let go. She grabbed the leash, pushing her one daughter out of the way. She finally got Zeus in the house when the other dog left. She looked Zeus over and found that he had been bitten by the pit and found a small bite wound, very minor. Ms. Jones gave the address of the suspect owner. During the investigation, Animal Control had Animal Control had on record 2 warning letters on the pit bull named Frenchie, which is Francesca, owned by Tyra Wargi of 600 Leprechaun Lane. The first was August 19, 2015. Francesca was running at large and acting in an aggressive manner. During that investigation, Frenchie, a.k.a. Francesca, attempted to attack a Morkie, owned by Mr. George Matthews of 677 Sprite Way in Glen Burnie. Mr. Matthews advised that his dog was okay, no wounds. However, the pit bull attempted several times prior. Second warning was on June 8, 2017. Frenchie, a.k.a. Francesca, was at large and acting in an aggressive manner and involved in a minor animal attack to a dog named Ghost, owned by Mark Kissick of 674 Sprite Way in Glen Burnie. While being walked, the pit bull broke out of the house through a front door and attacked his dog on a leash while he was walking, causing a minor injury, a puncture in between his eyes and the side of his nose. Animal Control Officer Johnson impounded Frenchie, a.k.a. Francesca, and after thorough review and per the law, the warning then was issued to Tyra Wargi. Both of the warnings issued advised Mrs. Ward to keep Francesca confined to the property at all times, making sure the yard and the house is secure, and even placing secondary barriers at the door to keep her from escaping. With the findings of the records of prior history and Article 12.4.402B of the County Code under the new law that was in effect September 7, 2017, I contacted the owner, Mrs. Tyra Wargi, and advised her of the present incident, and she advised that the dog was Frenchie, a.k.a. Francesca. I explained that she would have to bring her dog in on a public safety investigation. Ms. Gee brought her dog in on March 27, 2018. We did a thorough review of the case files and findings and statements with all 2 warnings were issued, and in means to protect the public from further incidences with Frenchie, Animal Control issued a dangerous order per the new public safety law, Article 12.4.402B. Ms. Gee then filed an appeal. Frenchie is still here in our care and custody. I did make phone calls with Mrs. Gee and her landlord in reference to that. I still don't know have a final at this point. Ms. Gee knows that. We're waiting to see what happens here today. I know that there was a question about her HOA. Mrs. Gee did give me her HOA paperwork as far as their bylaws. They're very vague in reference to fencings and kennels. So I guess we would cross that bridge if it got there. And mind you, her landlord still has to give her permission, and she's aware of that.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
She can testify, or you can. I mean, both of you can.
Yeah, it's her.
Okay.
So just to clarify, Ms. Silver, who's my next door neighbor, who my children call affectionately Auntie Cat, she was the one that witnessed. It said Ms. Jones, and I'm Ms. Jones. I'm the mother of the 2 children. So I just wanted to clarify that first. So you can go ahead.
Pretty much, I mean, it was just another Saturday. Kids like to play outside. I mean, the weather's nice. So it was actually her 2 children and my one, my 3-year-old. And when the dog approached Zeus, the problem became is that Zeus turned his body so that he would be in front of the children. Zeus never left the children. So when her youngest just took off and my son took off, Leilani is only about 100 pounds. She's 10. And Zeus is 80. So it's a big dog.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, but he would not leave Leilani's side. He never turned to face Francesca. He always kept his body to the side so that if Leilani moved a little bit, he moved a little bit. So that's why I was actually the one that had to go and grab him, because I'm 300 pounds. I'm winning this battle. But even in this case, he took himself and threw himself in front of me, even in this case. So, and then of course when I moved, then I really got him to move. But the kids were terrified of this. And then to make matters worse, the next morning, Francesca was out again with no collar or anything like that. So I don't have a pet. I don't have any dogs, no fish. My kid just kind of looks at everybody and is like, yeah, okay, I'm over that, and I'm gonna walk off. But I went and spoke to the neighbors down the street and asked them, look, can you please at least get a collar on her? Can you put a leash on her? Because there was no collar or anything to even yank her up from getting to Zeus or their kids. Now, while I was at her house, Francesca is very sweet to people. So I could tell that just by being in the house, because she came, sat down by me, waited for me to pet her, and then walked off and came and sat down by me again. So she didn't seem to have a problem with people, but it was as soon as she saw Zeus, off she goes. And that's not the first time this has happened. This is just the first time I had to be involved. So that's all I gotta say.
What kind of dog is a Presa? I'm not familiar with that breed.
Presa Canera. It's a big dog.
It's a Mastiff
Mastiff.
breed.
Mastiff.
Oh, okay.
Mastiff-ish.
Okay.
Big.
Yeah, they
Makes
can get
nothing right.
heavy.
He thinks he's a lap dog. Like,
get
sir,
very
I'm this
big.
tall.
Not familiar with it.
Do you want? Okay, so I had back issues at that time, so I was laying in bed while they were outside playing, and all I heard was the growling that occurred and my daughter running inside. And motherly instinct, I ran out, and that's when Kat was bringing in Zeus, and I checked him, and he did have a nick. He was shaken up, and I just, calmed him down. I put him back in his crate, and I said, "You're not in trouble. I just need you to calm down." As I went out, Francesca was still off of a leash, walking down. The owner was was down at the other end, not even caring that something had just taken place between his dog. This is not the first time. This is actually the 4th time that this has occurred. The first time it occurred, it was, oh, she just wants to play. No, she doesn't. And again, Zeus put himself in front of us. My mom, who is in Canada, same thing. We always have to yell, put your leash on a dog. That shouldn't be. My youngest is terrified. She will not even go down past that house. We always have to go another way through or another way around. And if we see her out, it's an instant dash. That morning, the next morning, my daughter came running in because the dog was on a loose. I've just had enough. I really have. My children should not be scared to play outside with their dog. We're abiding by the law. We shouldn't be afraid to walk past a house because another dog's gonna come out after my dog. I shouldn't have to give directions to my mother not to walk down past that house. I've just had enough.
She's been impounded before. That's why one of the warnings were issued.
Frenchie?
Yeah.
Impounded or just warning letters?
No, she was picked up for the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to make the third incident, she's picked up, brought in here.
Anything else to add before we go to?
Pleasant good morning or early afternoon. I'm not quite sure what time it is. Frenchie is a good dog. I never even had met the young lady down there. The other young lady, I didn't know it was a dog, so I didn't have opportunity to apologize. As soon as I met the other young lady, she came to the house. We were very, very apologetic. Frenchie just doesn't just run up and down the street happy-go-lucky. As a matter of fact, in her own testimony, I heard her say Tucker. Tucker is my next-door neighbor's dog. He happens to be a old English bulldog, very big and aggressive. And sometimes, as a matter of fact, the owner has had him pretty good trained, so he is off the chain all the time. Even in early morning hours usually. But sometimes, they let Tucker out to use the bathroom in their front yard. Their home is like 200 yards away from ours. We're 2 doors from, as a matter of fact, we're the first house on the block, and there's the second from the last. We've even gone down there after we found out that this young lady wasn't the owner of the dog to try to apologize. But there didn't seem to be anyone at their home at the time. The other 2 times that Frenchie was loose, and the young guy had a little corgi, I think it was. Frenchie was not loose. Frenchie was on her chain, and their home is 2 blocks over. And my daughter, Johnny Mae, she happened to be walking her down the block, and the corgi was running around in their own yard, and they got into a little scrap, and we apologized to the gentleman since, and we haven't had any other incidents. The other dog that Frenchie got into an incident with was a wolf breed, a very large dog, and it happened to be walking in the front on the side of our home, and Frenchie saw it from the front door. Frenchie usually doesn't just come out the front door, I don't know why she did that particular time. And when kids walk by and they get real close, Frenchie taps on the door. She doesn't just go after, she hasn't gone after anybody's child, and she never would.
No person, no human.
No, never.
Ever.
As you can see, I have some health issues. Frenchie is like my friend, she's with me all the time. And I have a 12-year-old daughter. Her name's Aaliyah. Aaliyah, she's about her mom's size. She's a pretty big girl, and she walks the dog sometimes, but not usually. Most of the time, it's Tyra walking the dog.
And she's always on a leash. Then the morning she said from the bite, the day after the bite, my dog was not outside, not on a leash. She's always on a leash.
Yes, always.
Always.
We know better. We don't take the laws of this land for granted. We know how important it is. We raising our children in the admonition and the fear of the Lord. They know better. They wouldn't. At the time that Frenchie got out and got toward her dog, Tyra and Aaliyah had just bathed Frenchie on the 2nd floor. My second oldest son, John, he happened to be downstairs, and I was laying on the sofa with my oxygen on. And that dog listened to Jay like you're listening to me right now, intently. And somehow or another, she got out the door and down the street toward their dog. Jay went out there immediately, not 5 or 10 minutes later, because I was downstairs, and Jay was at the front door. And immediately, he went to get the dog. And again, we take full responsibility. We take ownership of what happened. And that dog means everything to us. She's not just another dog or animal. That dog is she sleeps in the bed. I sleep downstairs. This dog sleeps in the bed with my wife and my daughter in the middle of it. You know.
So are you saying you believe they misidentified your dog?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's what I was going to tell you.
But you also just said that the dog ran out. You just
Yes,
said
sir.
your son that-
Yes, sir.
So they
But-
misidentified the dog, but you just said the dog ran down the street.
That day was Frenchie.
Humbly, if I may. Yes, Frenchie did that on that day.
This
But
is
the
a
other
different day,
days,
not the day-
oh no,
No.
heavens no.
And so the day after the incident, if she had seen a dog off the leash, it's always my next door neighbor. The dog is well trained. He never walks the dog on a leash because she's well trained. However, she's like any other dog that will go towards another animal. She's never attacked a person, from what I hear from the owner. And she's very playful. So I understand that before they had an incident with Tucker, and if I'm not mistaken, the officer here gave them a warning for Tucker.
And Tucker's much bigger than Frenchie.
Are they similar breed?
Sir?
Same breed?
No, that's an old English bully. She's just wide. He's wide and big. Tucker is. And Frenchie's about 58 pounds last time we weighed him. And Frenchie, on Friday evenings, we go over to my mother-in-law's house. And there they have a little small Shih Tzu. And they play intently together all the time. Frenchie, I'm talking about, and what do you call the dog?
Oh, Cam.
And Cameron.
I've also noticed that my dog Francesca, we live on a corner house. So if you look at my yard, you can tell everybody brings their animals and
Straight
the
through,
dogs
yeah.
urinate in my yard. Francesca will look out the patio door. So if she's noticing that you're urinating, a lot in the yard, of course, when she sees that animal, she gets a little aggressive towards the window. Like,
She
why?
smacks the glass.
Yeah,
She smacks the glass.
but she's never gone after a dog to attack them. Never. The first incident, she was a puppy. She was playing. However, she does not know how to play because we've never got her training. I have not been able to afford training.
And humbly, if I may, not saying that the dog wasn't injured. They take the puppy or Zeus to the doctor to see after him. And if they had it, all they had to do was come to tell us, and we would have paid for it. But I don't know if they did or not.
So the first incidents that Frenchie had was August the 19th, 2015,
Yes, ma'am.
when she attacked a little Morkie, okay? Are you claiming that bite was when attack?
She never bit.
Attack. Running at large and acting in an aggressive manner, okay?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
Frenchie
well,
was on chains.
I'm just,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm reading from there. Okay, that was the first incident. Is that when she was a puppy or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the second warning, she was running at large again and acting in an aggressive manner and involving a minor animal attack to Ghost. Okay? While that dog was on a leash. Okay? And the dog, your pit bull, broke out of the house by the front door. That's 2 right there. Okay? So you're saying that you feel that they are saying that your dog and Tucker look the same? Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Even if they're not saying that they look
Your
the same.
dog is a white brindle, white and brindle.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
What color is Tucker?
The same.
brown.
He has if you can imagine what Tucker is white and brown. In the face they look alike. In their bodies they look different.
Okay. Is he the American Bulldog?
He's an old English bulldog.
Old English?
Yes,
He's
ma'am.
got to be bigger than Frenchie, correct?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Well, Frenchie's here, so I mean,
Oh, no, I can identify
No,
Frenchie.
we can identify Frenchie.
She's easy.
Just not the
Not the
bulldog. And I'm gonna have to object.
She's got the Pressa.
Yes, I have the presser. And I'm gonna have to object because I've seen Francesca run out of the house. My mother has seen Francesca run out the house. Had witnessed Francesca walking back. We know what Francesca looks like.
Are you
So-
familiar with Tucker?
No.
So you
But I will say this, the day that I was at the house, so that next morning, standing against the door doesn't latch. It did not latch, let me put it that way, because my son and I have walked past the house recently, and they have a
The storm
puppy.
door?
A storm door, yes, sir. They have a puppy that ran up against the storm door this past, a couple weekends ago. So I know that they have had that fixed since. But that day that I was there, that door did not latch. So any dog, any person, anybody could have just tapped the door and, oh, look, it's open.
Humbly,
So,
if I may, the door didn't break when we bought it. It wasn't a broken door, you know. But after the fact of constantly going out, we've been there 7 years. There wasn't a door there initially, and we installed it, you know, for this purpose, because we had the dog, you know. And I guess after a period of time of Frenchie knocking on the door, that could have happened. It could have happened just through normal wear and tear. But since we've had the problem of adjusted, and we don't have to deal with that anymore.
What are you asking the commission for?
Well, we actually don't want the dog to be condemned or determined to be a dangerous animal. Frenchie isn't dangerous.
So you want the entire citation
Yes, sir.
eliminated?
Yes, sir.
And you're suggesting to the commission that the warning letters that were given in 2015 and 2017 wasn't your dog?
Oh, no, sir. I'm not saying that at all. In
You're saying
2000,
this episode, the one that occurred here, wasn't your dog?
No, I'm saying that each and every episode
Was your
that
dog?
that was recorded
Okay.
is our dog. In 2015, Frenchie was on a leash when this episode happened down in front of the gentleman's home. His dog wasn't on a leash. The second episode, the wolf dog was walking in. There's a little vestibule in a park, and the owner had him on a leash, and Frenchie went out the house, you know, in an aggressive manner
Okay.
to go toward that dog. And this third time, and this other time here, it definitely was our fault. I
Okay.
take full responsibility.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, we need the absolute truth from both parties because we have to make a decision and we don't want to make a rule unfavorable towards someone who it should be ruled differently. So I'm a good listener and I listen to every little thing and I'm not a judge, you know, but I think what has happened in the past, Frenchie was at fault.
Yes, sir.
And as we mentioned, always we have to protect the public. And a lot of this fault, if not all of it, I believe lies with Frenchie.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what decision we're going to make, and that's our choice. But I want to listen. We're supportive of everyone. You kind of know that, don't you? I mean, we just do what we think is right, but we need your support also. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Do you consider Frenchie dog aggressive?
To some dogs, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And she's 5 years old?
4,
Okay. And she's been spayed, correct?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. But she is dog aggressive. I think I would agree with that. So, her tapping on the window, to me, is like, I want out. I want out. I don't like what's going on out there, and I'm seeing that. I don't like that. I want out. So I think we got an aggressive little girl. Has she had any formal training?
No, before I got sick, I was a farmer, and I raised and cows, hogs, all kinds of livestock, and I had a dog down on the farm as well. You know, her name was Caroline. She was a Belgian Shepherd, and I trained Caroline perfectly. She did everything I told her to do when I called her. When I told her to round up the livestock, everything. You know, and I think I'm a pretty good judge on how to raise an animal. You know, no, now I haven't had formal training other than by Mr. Duffy, the farmer who lived on the next farm over. You know, and Mr. Duffy, he raises donkeys and he raises horses as well. Anyhow, I trained Frenchie and Tyra with Tyra's help and my older daughter's help, and Frenchie was perfect, other than the fact she made some gross errors and when she saw the dogs. You know.
Well, I think the public's been very fortunate here over the last 3 or 4 years that we've just had a couple snipping episodes, no real serious injuries that we've heard previously, like we've heard previously this morning. You know, my concern here is that we've had 3 episodes with this dog where she's out running off lead and approaching other dogs in an aggressive manner. And even if you want to dispute that there was a misidentification on this dog, and I get you that, we still have 2 in the past and then a suspect here. My concern is the citizens of the county and other dogs in the county have been very fortunate to this point that Frenchie hasn't done anything more serious to them. And I'm having a real tough time trying to find any way to downgrade this dangerous order. We have to take an action to protect the public safety, and we have to force these rules upon Frenchie so that we can ensure that's my biggest concern. And I've heard nothing here this morning that gives me any kind of angle to help you and try and downgrade that order. I mean, we've just got a history here, and we've just been damn lucky that nothing bad's happened.
I understand training is needed. The last time she was impounded, Officer Thomas told me that, you know, you guys really need to get training and get a muzzle too, so when she is on the leash. And she said to get training, a muzzle. And we needed to put a front barrier by the front door. At that time, I wasn't working, and I'm still not employed. But I understand that we need it, and everything that is needed, we will get. However, the fencing, I spoke with HOA. They're supposed to have sent me some information in reference to the yard with a lock, I guess a lock on the gate, yeah. She didn't send it to me. So once I leave here, again, I'm going to call. And second of all, I don't think my HOA will allow a dangerous dog. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever had to go through this.
And we did get insurance.
Yes.
We got insurance through Geico. They required us to get $300,000 or $400,000, I believe it was.
Yes.
And we did do that.
I make a motion that we uphold the order as it stands.
I'd say,
All in favor? Okay. All right, the
Thank you.
dangerous order is upheld.
So what do we do at this point?
you'll get a letter from Animal Control. Well, all right, it's a recommendation to the Chief of Police. Once the Chief of Police decides how he wants to decide on this, you'll get a letter from Animal Control.